Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. Today I am super excited to talk about my introduction to powerlifting. I feel like that is one of the most common questions I get is, how did you start? Why did you start?
Just a little PSA, this video actually talks more about my background and my history of powerlifting rather than the hows and the whys.
So let's just jump right into it. So I started powerlifting fall of 2014. At this time I was a sophomore in high school and I joined my high school's powerlifting team, which was the Lago Vista High School powerlifting team. At that time it was pretty small. The way I joined was actually really funny. I had a friend who was so excited about this new coach we were getting for the team, and she really wanted to try out, and I just remember being very uninterested at the time. I heard a lot of rumors that the old coach would let lifters get hurt all the time, and so you heard the whole, well, you're gonna get bad knees and you're gonna get a bad back, and you know, it's not really that healthy for you, and what are you gonna get out of it? Come the morning of tryouts, I actually showed up and she did not. I ended up making the team. So fast forward to January, February of 2015, I actually did my first competition ever. I was 132 pounds and I remember the first meet I ever did, I bombed out. And
Wait, how did you feel that first meet?
I remember I had worked so hard, to just get down to the weight class. I remember having to do like little, now looking back, unhealthy water cuts to get down to the 132 pound weight class. So I remember I had worked so hard to try to make it to weight, and then on top of that, just working so hard to learn equipment. So for those of you who don't know, I actually started out in equipment first. I was never a raw lifter until I, began my lifting career in the USAPL. So it was really tough to kind of start out in a squat suit and learn how to use your knee wraps and learn how to use a bench shirt and what a deadlift suit does. At this time I was learning what squat shoes were and how to use a belt. So on top of having to cut down, I was also making a tremendous effort to try to get down my form in this extra equipment. And then I got to the meet. Squats went fantastic. I remember I was on top of the world. I ended up being the girl in my weight class who had squatted the most at that meet, and then bench came and I blew it. I bombed. I was just so unconfident. I remember I didn't get my opener, which was something, I think it was like 15 pounds less than what I was, practicing in practice, and I just remember being so completely devastated. Can you imagine that kind of a start? that actually pushed me to get better, and I went on to go to my first state competition ever. I was a very active kid in high school. I actually played volleyball, I did track and field, I did powerlifting, I did softball. It was only powerlifting that I knew that I could really do something and I could really be good at this sport. So I went to state my sophomore year and I got 4th place. And I remember just being so happy. And I know that sounds weird today because now when I look at placing, you always strive for gold, but at the time I was just so happy that I placed. I mean, this was my first year, I put a lot of hard work into it, and I remember going to my mom at the end of the meet, and I looked at her, and my mom cries about everything, and she's happy, and I told her, I was like, Mom, I'm gonna win next year. And that's exactly what I did. I won state my junior year of high school. And I felt like that was like such a defining moment, and I knew that this was something that I was passionate about. It was something I was willing to put so much work into, and I do really owe that a lot to the coach that I had at the time. And I remember her being one of my biggest motivators because she herself had done high school powerlifting and collegiate powerlifting, and so I really did want to follow in her footsteps. That was that. Fast forward another year, I actually moved up a weight class, so I went from the 132 weight class to the 148 weight class. Man, I really remember being so intimidated by the bigger numbers. I think there were more people in that weight class at the time, and so I really just told myself, hey, it's either sink or swim. You can't get down to the 132s anymore, so you're really gonna have to put in that work to keep up with the 148s. I actually got 2nd at state. So, I graduate high school. December 2017 was the first time I had ever competed in the USAPL. That was actually the time I was underneath Sandra. This meet, I felt like I was more prepared than I ever had or I ever was in high school.
I weighed in at 67 kilograms or 147 pounds, which was actually quite light for the weight class I was in, which is still now 72 kilograms or 158 pounds. So squat went really well for me. I ended with 212.5 keys, which is about 468 pounds. And I believe that was a 53-pound PR from my last squat at senior state. Bench went all right. I think I missed my last attempt and ended with 115 keys or 253 pounds, which was about the same as what I had ended with senior year. I think I ended with either 245 pounds or 250 pounds. And deadlifts went really well too. I have never been very good at deadlifts, but with working with Sandra in that brief time, I actually had a breakthrough, and I ended with 175 kilograms or 385 pounds, which was, I think, between a 40 and 50 pound PR from my last high school competition at state too. I ended up placing 2nd at this meet, which sucked because it meant I got silver 2 meets in a row, but I think that was what lit the much needed fire in me to train with more intensity for my next meet.
So for those of you who don't know, I actually started my career in the USAPL as a little 66 kilogram lifter, which is about 145 pounds. So I was actually on the lighter end of my weight class. And I remember one of the things that Sandra, my coach, would always tell me was to just eat. Make sure I was fueling my body, giving it the proper nutrients to recover. And I really do think that made such a big difference in my performance December of 2017 and my performance in April of 2018. So April 2018 was my very first Collegiate National Championship.
So I was super hyped for squats, and I actually PR'd by a lot. I ended with 220 kilos or 484 pounds, which was a huge PR from my meet in December. So bench went really well for me too. I actually ended up getting my 125 kilogram or 275 pound bench that I was trying to achieve in December of 2017. So it was really nice to finally be able to attain that goal. So deadlifts went really well too. I ended up PRing with 187.5 kilograms or 413 pounds, which locked me in for first place and concluded my first and only 9 for 9 meet.
So all of those second place medals really did motivate me to push myself to the limit that I knew I could handle. And then fast forward to September 2018, I went to Junior Worlds. I remember the only hiccup I ever really had that entire time I was there was I got a little sick the night before I competed, but I woke up feeling fine, didn't have to cut weight. We went into squats thinking everything was gonna go really well. I PR'd. I actually hit the lift that I am still to this day very proud of, which was my 230 kilogram squat or 507 pounds. So it was a really big deal when I hit those 4 reds, and just the way that looked, I think everyone really forecasted me to win that meet. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. To say I the bed on deadlifts would be an understatement. I really just did not execute what I needed to, and so I put up a total that was significantly less than what my coach and I had planned. To make matters even worse, I had lost to first place by 2.5 kilograms, and I had lost to second place on body weight. So I ended up placing third at my first Junior World competition. After that competition, I realized that I wanted to try raw lifting. I had been doing equipped lifting for 3 or 4-ish years at that point, and I thought it was time to give raw lifting a shot. January 2019, I competed in my very first raw meet. It was actually the Winter Games of Texas.
So that meet, I went 8 for 9. Squats went really well. I went 3 for 3 and ended with 162.5 kilograms or 358 pounds. For bench, I also went 3 for 3 and I ended with 97.5 kilograms or 214 pounds, which was a huge PR for me. So deadlifts, sadly, I went 2 for 3. I ended with 172.5 kilograms or 380 pounds on my second attempt.
I remember putting up a total that had qualified me for the 2019 Raw National Championship. So, I felt pretty good about it. But, I didn't really think I would continue to be a raw lifter. I actually planned to do 2019 Collegiate National Championship in equipment again. Unfortunately, due to my own personal circumstances, I ended up pulling out of that meet. I felt like more than ever I was so prepared for that meet. I was so hyped. There was so much hype going around it. Everybody already knew who I was because I had won from the previous year, and so they were super excited to see what I could put up. I really did, feel very emotional, and I was emotional for a couple of months after I didn't compete at that meet. So I put away my gear after that, which was it was a big move for me. We decided to sign up for the 2019 Raw Nationals, which was this past October. I think that was actually the time when I took what I put in my body more seriously than I had ever done before. That was the time when I really focused on building on my technique. It was the time when I felt like I could recover better and recover quicker because I wasn't always in equipment. And I really did feel really good going into the raw competition.
I ended up going 5 for 9. I only got my opener on squat, which was 167.5 kilograms or 369 pounds. I did end up going 3 for 3 on bench, which was really cool. I ended with 110 kilograms or 242 pounds, which was a whopping PR for me. And then deadlifts, again, I went 1 for 3. I only got my opener, and I ended with the same thing I ended on squat, which was 369 pounds. So overall, it was a disappointing meet for my standards, but I was really happy that I placed 4th in the 72 kilogram raw junior women.
I feel like it's not so much as like where you place competitively. Sometimes it's your performance in general and what you think of in your head that really gets to you. So I remember being a little disappointed there, but I was really excited that for once and for all I could assure myself that I was both competitive as an equipped lifter and a raw lifter. So I have decided to compete in the 2020 Collegiate National Championship again. I'm nervous. And I'm also really excited. It's been a while since my last meet. I feel like my lifting's only gotten better, and I also feel like the lifters that will be there this meet have really shown everybody what they're capable of, and I am so excited to compete alongside them. You know, one of the biggest things that you see in this sport is that if you don't continue to work really hard and you don't continue to better yourself in everything you do, you will get left behind really quickly. It's that easy. So I cannot wait to compete alongside them and to really rise to the occasion and see what I can put up, and because I'm more than confident that I will, you know, put up something that I'm really proud of. So, with that being said, I'm going to end this video here. I hope that it has allowed you to gain a little bit of insight as to who I am as a lifter. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe. Turn on your post notification. Stay tuned for next video to find out whether I will be competing raw or equipped in the 2020 Collegiate National Championship, and leave a comment down below if you think I'll be competing raw or equipped. So I'm excited to see what you guys think. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time.